All right, y'all. So today I'm going to bring you another story from my journey in prison. Okay. I want you to understand I am not promoting violence. I am not saying anything about going to prison is cool. I'm saying the furthest thing from that. I actually have three boys and one daughter. And I pray to God every day that they do not experience the suffering that I experienced or get involved in some of the foolishness that I got myself involved in. So hopefully, through this message, maybe your uncle, your cousin, your niece, nephew, your son or daughter may hear something to make them want to stay out of those situations also. Okay? This is not a channel where it's saying that going to prison is cool. That's not what this is about. This is a channel where I want to share my story. I want to share some of the things I've been through in order to help deter others from going that way. But I'm gonna tell y'all like a little funny story this time. This is about when the vice lords was gonna kill me up in federal prison. Okay, nothing cool about this. I was about to get killed in federal prison because I was playing games. Okay, so I was up in federal prison in Beckley, West Virginia, FCI, Federal Correctional Institution. I remember the dorm I was in. I think I was in a dorm unit called Popular One, which was downstairs. I was there for a Brave program in cohort like 11. I don't know why I remember all this stuff, but I remember it. So anyway, I'm new to prison. I think I was like 19 years old. Still thought I was in my neighborhood. Still thought that I can get away with stuff. Still thought I was slick. So this is what I do. It was this guy in the dorm. He used to cut everybody's hair. He was from Chicago. All right. Let me adjust this a little bit. So he was the barber. He was from Chicago. He was just like happy-go-lucky, just laughing and stuff. His name was Lala. If anybody know Lala, tag him in this. Let him know, hey, I made it. Nobody killed me. But so Lala was the barber. Cool dude, never said much. I didn't know much about him. I just seen him. And what happened was they called Chow one day. And I had some headphones. I just had some little bullcrap headphones. So when they called Chow, most people be in the TV room, they wrap their stuff up, throw it in their cell, and go ahead about their business. So Lala had these headphones, man, that was like real, real nice. They was some COS headphones. If you was in there, they was the L shape and had the metal wire that went over here. They didn't muffle your ears. They just had the little speakers that go on your ear. So I was in the dorm and he was in the TV room. When they called Chow, what he did was he just grabbed his headphones. I got something right here. These ain't COS. But he grabbed his headphones off his head and just hung them up on a little hook on the wall. And he went to Chow. And I said, yo, this goofy dude's slipping. I got something for him because I've been wanting some good headphones. Man, I sat around in the dorm for like 4 or 5 minutes, looked. It was like everybody went to Chow. I was like, oh my God, y'all blessing me. I'm about to get these headphones. So I went ahead, put my jacket on, went into the TV room to where he hung them at, took them off the hook, wrapped them, put them in my jacket. Boom, went out the dorm. And I was smart enough to know that if you take something, don't take it to your cell. So I took it over to my homeboy across the yard, had him hold them for me because they engraved like your last name and your inmate number in it. So he was going to get the number changed and all that. I was like, shoot, I'm good. This little sissy dude, I just stole his headphones. He'll be all right. And I go on about my business, go to Chow, go to the rec yard, walk around, shoot the breeze, come back to the dorm. I've been stealing stuff before. It ain't nothing. So I come back to the dorm, and when I'm in the dorm, I think I was like at the ice machine getting some ice in my cup for some juice, and I seen Lala walking in the dorm. Because the dorm ain't nothing but a big triangle. So I saw him, and I was walking from getting the cup. And as I was walking up on the little platform, he was in the day room, which is about 4 feet recessed. And he was like, yo, he said, I got a question, man. I ain't trying to offend you or nothing. He said, but you seen my headphones? I put them in the TV room. I was like, nah, I ain't see your headphones. He was like, you sure you ain't see them? I was like, yeah, I ain't see them because it wasn't nobody in their unit. I got away with it scot-free. So I was like, I ain't see the headphones. He was like, man, it's funny because somebody told me they saw you go in there and put them in your pocket. So last time, and you sure you ain't see them? And I'm looking at dude like, whatever, man. I don't have your headphones. So now, when I got to West Virginia, I'm gonna have to do a whole nother video on this. When I got to West Virginia, well, probably back in the jail when I first got locked up, I seen like Muslims and was hearing how they operate and how they run stuff and how they do things. And like most of the Muslims I knew, they were like big, muscular with beards, the Sunni Muslims. So I had joined and became a Muslim. So I was studying, learning Arabic, making my salat, trying to figure it all out. You know, I always had faith in God, but I just went on the exploration phase. So I go on about my business, boom, boom, boom. Later on it was the next day, the Muslims caught me on the rec yard. And they was like, yo, Aki, which is brother in Arabic. It was like, Astaghfirullah Azim Aki, the Kufa, which is, Kufa is like the non-believer, is saying that the Muslims stole his property. And it was like, they say, Aki, you know we don't touch people's property, so I'm gonna ask you, man to man, did you take that brother's headphones? I was like, no. I just lied straight to no, I did not take his headphones. It's all a joke. It's a game to me. I'm just up here doing time. I'm just passing through. Y'all been here for all these years. I'm just passing through as a visitor, whatever. No, I ain't take his headphones. So let me tell you what I did not know. This is when the story get interesting. Was that Lala was ganged up, all the way up, born gang banging, uncle gang bang, brother gang bang. Like, I never seen him with his shirt off, but he was tatted up. He was like some kind of, vice lord set from Chicago, and he was well respected. That's why he was so calm, because he didn't have nothing to prove. So they was like, well, Aki, come to the chapel. We got to have a meeting because the Kufa, they saying that you stole, and we can't have them slandering a Muslim's character like that. So I was like, all right. So I'll be there. So you have to wait. You can only move on certain times in prison. So whatever time it was, I don't remember the time. This is back in 1999. So whatever time it was, I go to the chapel, and when I go in, the brothers, they sitting in a circle. And they just sitting in a circle. So I go sit in a circle with them. Like, what's going on? And I see like dudes crying and stuff. I'm like, what happened? Somebody died? And I was like, nah, they're accusing the Muslim of stealing, and now it's going to be the Muslims versus the brothers in Chicago and whoever other vice lords with them. And I'm like, man, I did not know it's this serious. So I'm seeing people handing shanks off. They like literally handing shanks, like, you gotta be protected. They going through protocol. Don't walk around alone. Don't do this. Don't do that. And they tell me to sit in the middle of the floor. Because in Islam, I guess they have their own culture of how they do things. So I was a brother that was brought under questioning, and I say I didn't do it. So they say, sit in the middle of the floor. Our key brothers want to talk to you because, we're about to go home, but now we're going to risk our freedom on protecting our reputation. And it was like, go ahead to the middle of the floor. And I was like, man, I ain't going to go up there. And when I say I ain't going to go up there, I was talking to the Sharif team. And I noticed a lot of them give me, but the Sharif team, they're like the protectors of the community. They're like not the police, but they are the ones that really guard us, And remind me to tell you the story when I got beat up by the Sharif team. That's really funny too. But, so they was like, nah, Aki, say it ain't true. I was like, man, they was like, say it ain't true. So I was like, man, I took it. Yo, these brothers was 100% disappointed in me, like 100%, because they really believed that I was telling him the truth when I told him I didn't take that guy's headphones. So now the whole dynamics of the situation shift. So I go in the middle of the circle, guy get up, say what I was, convicted of doing, and then they told me that it took like 15 minutes, bunch of questioning, people talking and this, that, trying to figure out what happened. So they told me that I needed to check in, that I needed to go to the hole, and they were gonna make sure I was in the cell with a Muslim, and I needed to check in for my own safety. So I was like, man, I ain't checking in. They was like, you can't go in the yard because these brothers are gonna kill you. And it was a brother there named Salim, Muslim, older Muslim dude from New York named Salim. He was in a wheelchair. And Salim pulled up, he wheeled his wheelchair forward, and he was like, nah, I think we might be being a little harsh on the brother. What I wanna do is I wanna take him under my wing. So Salim took me under his wing, and the Islamic community gave me some sanctions. Now, I'm just skipping around with this story. I haven't even talked about what happens with this Lala situation yet. I'm talking about the Islamic community, what they did to me. They gave me sanctions, right? Because they said, well, how prison is structured and how the dynamics of it is, and organizations and groups, they couldn't allow a non-believer to put his hands on a believer, all right? So the vice lords knew that I took their stuff. So the vice lords were going to try to hurt me if they caught me alone. But the higher ups in their organization had to talk to the higher ups in Islam, in the Sunni Muslim community. And so what they agreed to, they put me on these sanctions, right? So I couldn't go to the rec yard. I couldn't play any games. I had to follow Salim around. I had to learn how to read and write Arabic. I still remember Arabic to this day. Kul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yulid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul kufuwan ahad. Something like that. But it's pretty interesting. But so I had to hang with Salim. I couldn't go to the rec yard by myself. I couldn't go anywhere unescorted without two Muslims with me, because this was a dangerous situation. The vice lords, Lala and them, they wanted blood. But the brother was like, we can't, if you touch this Muslim, you have to deal with all of us Muslims. So the heads got together. There's okay, well, he's sanctioned. He can't go to the rec yard to play. He can't play any games. I had to go to every Jummah. I had to go to every meeting in the Islamic community. I had to be seen making salat 5 times a day. Had to start studying hadith. Had to start walking around with the brothers. I couldn't even go to chow all by myself. And when I took a shower, I had to start taking showers in rotation. I'm sure you heard about showers in rotation in somebody else's video that promote how it is, but in some spots, you got shower with your boots on, because that's the easiest way where they catch folks coming out of the shower in your shower shoes with a towel wrapped around you, wiping your face. Next thing you know, they go down like that. So I was protected just for stealing. And they said that I had to give the headphones back to Lala, and I had to tell him I'm sorry and not say anything else. So I was like, cool. So I walk over. I had to go get the headphones from my homeboy. This took like a day to do this. I go get the headphones from my homeboy, and I go in a unit. Now Lala's standing different. He's standing like a G now, like bringing my stuff. So I walk over. Him and 3 of his homeboys is there. It's a bunch of Muslims in the unit, so they ain't gonna really try nothing goofy, because you know you're gonna go to war. So I walk over to him, and I was like, Lala, here go your headphones. I'm sorry. Sorry I stole it. Bro started laughing, man, and started cussing me out, calling me all kinds of names. And when I was ready to rebuttal, I was like, I remembered that they said I could not say nothing. So I just sat there for like 6 seconds, listened to him, and just backed up. I wasn't gonna turn my back to him because I was scared. So I just backed up. And he was like, I'm gonna get your ass one of these days. He was like, I'm gonna get your ass. He said, I promise you I'm gonna get your ass one of these days. And in my mind, I'm like, I gotta get the heck off this compound. So they had me on these sanctions. It ain't working out for me. So I was telling the dude, I was like, yo, I'm just gonna write myself off this compound, go somewhere else. He was like, man, if you go somewhere else, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. They're gonna transfer you, and while you in the hole, finishing your time before they let you on the compound, the word is gonna get there before you get there of who you are and what you did to those vice lords. And he said somebody gonna stab you in the hole. He was like, so the safest place for you to be is on this compound, standing beside Salim, because they respected Salim. So like that's where I spent the next 4 or 5 months under those restrictions, man. Every time I saw Lala, he would cuss me out. I couldn't say nothing. Dudes would just look at me like, you thief. And I just couldn't say nothing because it wasn't like you on the streets and you got a gun or you got access to a gun or you and your homeboys gonna jump them. Like, nah, you locked in here with these dudes every day. And dude ain't do nothing to me. I just was young and dumb and decided to steal from him. You know, the ultimate moral of the story, and I just wanted to really get into it and tell some of the things that happened, what I was going through while I was incarcerated. The moral is, I hope that you never go inside and never have to experience those things, but just stealing from people and telling lies to folks that care about you and then trying to cover it up with another lie, it's a total downhill spiral. I did my little sanctions, and then they slowly let me get back to me, and the heat died down. They had a meeting. It was like, okay, we ain't gonna mess with the brother. But I thought Lala was gonna try to extort me. He never did it. He was like a stand-up dude. Every time I saw him, he just cussed me out. And he was like, what you gonna do about it? I was just like, it's nothing I can do. He was like, that's what I thought. And I appreciate you, Lala, for not pushing that still on me. But I do appreciate the Islamic community for accepting me and bringing me in. I'm no longer Muslim now, but some of the lessons I learned while I was studying Islam molded me into the man that you see me today, because I practiced Islam for a couple of years. It's a great religion of peace. It's a way of life, actually, of submitting. So it was great. I had a lot of lessons. I learned a lot under it, under the tutelage. Thank you, Salim, for saving my life and believing in me. And I just want y'all to know, like, y'all really don't want that life, because it ain't as gravy as you think, man. It ain't as gravy. And some of them goons got goons. So like, if the goon don't get you, his goon might get you. I just was blessed and fortunate to make it through. But that's a story of when I stole from somebody I thought was a goofy, a simp, but he was not. Dude was well connected, well affiliated, and he was actually a G. And he was G enough to let me live. So I appreciate that. I was young and dumb. Don't put yourself in that situation. If you get locked up, which I pray you don't, if your son is, which I pray he is, and if your uncle, nephew, make sure you tell them to keep their hands off other people's property. Okay? Simple. Keep your hands off other people's property. I'm going to drop some more stories about what was going on there, man, because it was like a lot of wild stuff going on that mountain. And you was either with it or you wasn't. It was not no in between. I'm going to tell the story when I got beat up by, what was his name? Wazir. Wazir beat me up. But we'll talk about that next time. Y'all be blessed. Stay heavily motivated. Don't forget, this is not for entertainment. This is not nothing to promote ignorance. The whole vibe of my channel is to show you that this is not the route you want to go. Share these experiences. So like, subscribe, send it to somebody. I've been blessed. I've been successful out here in the world as a salesman, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, a father, a son, you know, just trying to give back. So this is my story. Whether it's right or wrong, whether you agree with it, this is just my story, and it is what it is. I'm, you know, just stepping out on faith, hoping that y'all can accept me for who I truly am. And I was a fucked up person. I did some fucked up stuff. Excuse me. I was a messed up person. I did some messed up stuff. But now I'm about to go and get some groceries for my family, okay? And I ain't stealing nothing. I got a card. I'm going to swipe it. I'm going to walk out there, and I'm going to come home. Peace. Y'all stay heavily motivated. Stay blessed.